is relevant to the ONOP bill and the saga that continues to unfold. Now we're getting a reaction from BRS. According to the top BRS sources who have informed CNN News 18 network on One Nation, One Poll, the party is actually adopting a wait and watch policy. Well, these are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground. Now Payal also stays with us on the broadcast. The BRS is yet to clarify its position on the bill, signaling a very cautious approach amidst the ongoing political debate. Now Payal, is this strategic silence indicative of potential negotiations or demands from the ruling government?
It's very interesting, because on one front, while the BRS initially had supported the idea of having one country, one election, so did the parties like BJD and YSR Congress. But the equations have changed after 2024, especially between the BJD and the BJP, and the YSR and the BJP after the BJP came into an alliance with TDP, which is a rival party in the state as well. So all these fence-hitter parties, which are not on either, which were initially not even on the side of the opposition, neither of the side of the ruling party, they've maintained a very neutral stand. They essentially say that they want to see what the bill looks like. They want to see the final reading. They want to don't want to judge it right now because they say they do not trust the intent of the government. They have to find out what exactly is the intent of the government. So once the bill is available in its form, once the report is submitted by the JPC, only then will they take a final call on the floor of the house. But they are significant parties because the BRS has MPs in both houses. The BJD has about significant number of MPs in the Lok Sabha. I beg your pardon, in the Rajya Sabha, and so does the YSR Congress. So obviously that's something which they want to actually really wait and watch. They want to negotiate because in a situation like this where you need 2/3 majority, every vote of every political party will count.
Right, Payal. Thank you so much for bringing in that perspective. Now, let's bring in Arunima also, who's been constantly tracking all the details from the ground. A very good morning, Arunima. Arunima, the government is introducing two more key bills in today, the Constitution Bill and the Union Territories Law Amendment Bill 2024. Can you help us understand with the viewers also what these bills entail and how they will be paving the way for simultaneous elections?
See, when you have to bring in One Nation, One Poll, you also have to talk about the three union territories like Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir, which have, a unique situation. They are union territories, but they do hold legislature elections as well. So to amend this process of holding elections for these three union territories, you need to bring in a separate bill for each one of them. And that's the requirement. As far as the other bill is concerned for ONOP, you require to amend several other laws as well. 82A, 83, 832 and 327. These are the articles. It will have to be amended within the constitution. And for that, you require a separate bill. Even though the government has now proposed one holistic bill for amending the entire process, and the government's argument seems to be that ratification from the states is not required because this is an ordinary bill that is being brought in, unlike a constitutional bill for which amendment and ratification from the states is required. But that's what the India bloc is also saying, that we'll have to wait. The bill that has been circulated, of course, is being studied by all their legal experts. The India bloc leaders are not having a floor strategy meeting for now. But like Pallavi is reporting, they're all on the same page for now that they're not going to favor this bill. But the amendments that are brought in, if it goes to the JPC, it's very likely that Arjun Ram Meghwal, the law minister, will introduce the bill. There is a high possibility that some of the senior ministers of the Bharatiya Janata Party would also, apprise the Lok Sabha about what is the government's intention, post which the bill could be sent to the Joint Parliamentary Committee. So all these amendments to the three, NCT of Delhi Bill, Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act and the Puducherry Bill, all three along with the main ONOP bill could be, sent for consideration of the JPC, post which a decision will be taken if, it requires further consideration of both houses or if India bloc decides to mount a legal challenge.
Right. Arunima, but help us also understand with Pallavi also pointing out that majorly the India bloc is on the same page, but the opposition is also arguing the fact that One Nation, One Poll is undermining the federalism. From a constitutional standpoint, how valid are these concerns?
It's not as if this country has not seen simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha and for assemblies at any point. That was the system for the first 1.5 decades after India got independence. Subsequently, because the terms of some of the legislative assemblies were forcefully ended by the centre, president's rule was imposed. That is what necessitated the need for separate assembly elections, and since then the trend has continued. What is now the reality is that like Lok Sabha elections are not simultaneously held with most of the assemblies. So, like Pallavi was also explaining, if there is one party which has just come to power, for example, you consider Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir has just had elections. If you want to bring in another set of elections now so that it is synchronized with the rest of the country, will the Omar Abdullah government be okay with that? They feel that this is an attempt to hit at the federal structure, to derail the opposition's narrative in the various state governments where they hold power, and that is why they are opposed to it. Legally, is the challenge valid or not? I think all the legal eagles of the India bloc, and they have quite a few legal brains within them, they're all going to study and see whether this bill goes to the Joint Parliamentary Committee and then take it.
Right, Arunima, we do understand the given constitutional challenges that this bill will have. Now, let's bring in Aman for a better perspective and more discussion. Aman, if referred to a joint parliamentary committee, this entire bill, what kind of amendments or debates should we expect to emerge from these consultations?
Well, it will be a very, I would say, a divisive JPC, because as we have seen in the Waqf Amendment Bill, which in the last session was referred to a JPC by the government, and still now the JPC on the Waqf Bill has not been able to give a report because it is rocked by divisions within parties who are a part of the JPC, and they've got an extension now in fact till the next session. I would assume that the JPC on the One Nation, One Poll could also be a long affair, because anyways, as I said, the bill is not going to become a reality because before 2034, it is at least a decade away that we could see Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections simultaneously. As per the bill, only in 2029, after the elections in the first sitting of the Lok Sabha, will the appointed date of this bill be set. But yes, the government will take its time, I believe, with the JPC. Also, Kohina, one must understand that to do simultaneous elections, the Election Commission of India also needs to buy a huge number of EVMs and VVPATs. That is also a big process which could take at least 3 to 4 years for the tenders to be issued for these EVMs and VVPATs in this big number to be procured, manufactured and finally delivered to the government. So there are various logistical challenges also to a one nation, one election, and that is why I think the government also wants to discuss this issue threadbare in a JPC, just to explain how this will work. The One Nation, One Poll in 2020, if this bill is passed in the present tenure of this government, in 2029, on the first sitting of the Lok Sabha, an appointed date of 2034 will be set, and any state which goes to polls after 2029, as per the existing schedule, will only have a limited tenure till 2024. For example, if a state polls in 2031, for example, it will only have a 3-year tenure, that government, till 2034. If somebody polls in 2030, they will have a 4-year tenure till 2034. And in 2034, similarly, all states and the center, Lok Sabha will have simultaneous elections. If any government falls between 2029 and 2034 due to no confidence motion, to be any other factor, fresh elections will be held in that particular state, but the tenure again will be a curtailed tenure till 2034 to again maintain that calendar when we could see election in 2034 simultaneously. That is the plan of the government. Let's see how it goes in Parliament today and later in the JPC.
Right, Aman, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. Well, I'd like to thank all the senior correspondents who've been getting us all these insights and latest developments from the ground. Now, India, it's that time of the year again. The Indian of the Year awards are back. This is your chance to celebrate the visionaries and icons making India proud. From